Ever feel like you're spinning your wheels but not actually getting anywhere? Spending hours on endless tasks that never seem to make a dent in your goals? Well, what if I told you? You could ditch 80% of that effort and still be way ahead of the game. Yep. Today, we're talking about the 80-20 rule, the secret sauce that successful people swear by to focus on what actually matters and unlock that next level potential. And yes, that means you'll be doing less to achieve more. So, if you're tired of wasting time and ready to get serious about productivity, grab a snack, smash that like button, and let's dive in. Alright, so what is this magical 80-20 rule, or as the fancy folks call it, the Pareto Principle? Put simply, the 80-20 rule says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts, meaning that most of what you're busting your butt on every day doesn't really matter. And that's not me being harsh, that's just science. Think about it. In business, 80% of profits come from 20% of customers. In sports, 20% of players score 80% of the points. And even in your own life, probably 20% of what you do actually makes a difference in reaching your goals. Now, I'm willing to bet that most of you watching are spending way too much time in what I call the 80% zone, pouring energy into low-impact tasks and feeling super busy, but not really getting anywhere. Let's be real. If scrolling through cat videos was the path to greatness, we'd all be billionaires by now. But no shame here, we've all been there. The trick is learning to recognize when you're wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter, and focusing on that juicy 20% that actually drives results. Okay, so you're like, cool, but how do I find my 20%? Great question. One method I love comes straight from the book The One Thing by Gary Keller, which I highly recommend, by the way. He says, ask yourself, what's the one thing you can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? Find that, and you've got your 20%. If you're in sales, your 20% might be reaching out to high-potential clients rather than obsessing over minor paperwork. If you're studying, it could be diving into your hardest subjects first instead of rereading notes you've already memorized. Nobody ever got a PhD in highlighting. And trust me, we've all been the person studying by just reading notes and drinking coffee for hours. Newsflash, coffee alone isn't doing the work for you. Now, here's the hard truth. Most of us know we're wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter. But breaking free from that habit, that's where the magic is. This is where you get ruthless. Make a list of all the stuff you do regularly, and ask yourself, does this move me forward, or is it just busy work? Quick tips. Limit time on social media unless you're actually creating content, not just mindlessly scrolling. Hey, I'm not saying cut out the memes entirely, just don't let them take over. Batch low-priority tasks. If it doesn't have a huge impact, set a timer, knock it out, and get back to your high-impact tasks. Learn to say no more often. Seriously, someone's gotta say it. You don't owe everyone your time. Here's the thing. Our brains are actually designed to focus on fewer high-impact things. In psychology, there's a concept called cognitive load theory. The idea that our brains have a limited capacity for processing information. Too much info actually reduces our ability to make good decisions. So by focusing on your top 20% tasks, you're not only being efficient, you're being smart, playing to how your brain naturally works. And don't worry if this sounds a little overwhelming, I've actually got a video on breaking down mental barriers and paradigms. Make sure to check that out after this one because trust me, understanding how you think is key to making this all click. Alright, story time. I didn't always use the 80-20 rule. I used to be that person who thought working longer hours meant better results. Spoiler, it didn't. But when I started listing out my 20% high-impact tasks, bam, my productivity shot up, and I actually had time to, have a life. My secret? I spent less time on every little email and more on creating quality content, and here we are. Now we're on the path to hitting 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. Yes, that's our goal. And I know with your help we're going to make it. So, let's wrap this up. The 80-20 rule is about working smarter, not harder. Identify your 20%, the stuff that drives real results, and pour your energy there. Stop wasting time on low-priority junk and watch how everything changes. Listen, you're capable of way more than you think. Breaking free from those limiting beliefs, it's all about focusing on what actually matters. You've got this. Now go out there, ignore the pointless fluff, and do the stuff that makes you great. And don't make me catch you scrolling cat videos. Unless they're really funny. Alright, that's it for today's video on unlocking your full potential with the 80-20 rule. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and let's get to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas. You can do it. And I appreciate every single one of you who's already joined the family. Until next time, keep mastering your life, one key at a time.